This is the new 2023 Porsche 911 GT3 RS. The 992 GT3 RS, and it's a track-focused version of the 911 that is absolutely insane. I mean, just look at it. Even though this shares all but 2 letters of its name with the regular 911 GT3, it is clearly a completely different beast. So today I'm going to review the new GT3 RS. Before I get started, this Assetto Corsa mod was made by the team over at MNBA. More of them and where to get this mod are in the description below. All right, it's time for the quirks and features of the GT3 RS. And I'm going to start with the engine, where there's something rather interesting. If you look at the numbers on paper, the GT3 RS isn't really all that different from the lowly GT3. They both have the same 4-liter flat 6 in the GT3. It makes 502 horsepower. Here it makes 518, 16 more horsepower, but this car is actually down in torque, 343 pound-feet versus 346. The new GT3 RS extra performance compared to the GT3 and every other Porsche model. It's not one big specific thing. Instead, it's a bunch of little stuff together where you get incremental gains in every area. That all adds up to a much faster car. And to help explain some of the little stuff, I'm going to start up front with aerodynamics and airflow, some of which we can see. You have this canard here to direct airflow. You have these little vents above the wheel well that helps to improve airflow and aerodynamics to the wheel area. And most importantly, you have directly behind the wheel this cut in the body line going down the center of the car, which Porsche says dramatically improves aerodynamics and airflow again in this frontal wheel area. Now, this cut is also seen on the new Cayman GT4 RS, but it was originally pioneered by the 911 GT1 race car, which had a very distinctive cut on its body line for this same purpose. Well, now it's being integrated into road cars like this. And you can see it here, and you can also see it in the back. A similar body line cut yet again to provide better aerodynamics and airflow now for the rear wheels. You have it both front and rear for better aero in this car. Again, it's the little things, and speaking of those little things, this car just yet, because there is still a lot more to cover up here, like the fact that the hood has these giant nostrils. You can see 2 huge nostrils on either side in the front. Obviously, that takes the warm air out of the radiator and sends it back away, which actually isn't great because it sends warm air up over the car and towards the engine, which you don't really want. You want cool, dense air. In an engine, you want to keep the warm air away. So this isn't the best design, except Porsche figured out a way to deal with it. You see these little fins on the roof, just little 2-inch high fins. Those apparently channel the warm air away from the engine. As you're driving along, the warm air comes off the radiator through those nostrils. It goes up over the roof, and then those vents help to direct it away from the car, so the engine isn't awash in warm air. With that being said, let us move on to the interior before we take this on track. One thing you'll notice here is how detailed this interior is. Something very common with MNBA mods. This car features a changeable dash and Android Auto. Not much to be said on this beautiful interior, so let's get it out on the track, the Road America track.